probably would have been right there in the car with them.
Snoop Dogg and Warren G have been friends for years, and although Warren might not be as famous as Snoop Dogg, he is actually a very important person in his life.
He pulled up, he surprised me.
He even saved his life once. It all had to do with the tragic incident that took Tupac's life, and what Warren did back then and how he saved Snoop Dogg will leave you speechless. Snoop Dogg and Warren G go way back. They founded a group which they called 213 with their friend Nate Dogg in 1992. The group was named 213 because it was the original telephone area code of the LA area, which makes sense seeing as the friends grew up around Long Beach in California. The trio were pretty much inseparable. They met back in 1986 when they crossed paths for the first time during their time at Long Beach Polytechnic High School. Eventually they came together to establish the hip-hop group. Sadly, the trio lost Nate to a stroke in 2011, leaving Snoop Dogg and Warren deeply affected by his passing. Reflecting on when they first all met at Nate's funeral, Snoop Dogg said that it was their shared love for music that brought them together to forge the bond of a genuine friendship that would last forever. He said this because they all remained friends even after they separated as artists. After the separation of the group, however, opportunities kind of happened to favor Snoop Dogg more, which is why these days casual supporters tend to focus more on Snoop Dogg. His career skyrocketed when he parted ways with Warren to join the renowned producer Dr. Dre at his then newly established record label. Another twist to this backstory is that Warren is actually Dr. Dre's half-brother. Due to his unique position, Warren had an early insight into life at the record label, especially the contractual arrangements presented to artists. Before Snoop Dogg got signed to the label, Warren got into a physical altercation with Suge Knight, one of the co-founders of the company. And the reason, as revealed by Warren in an interview, was because he had been concerned about the deal Snoop Dogg would have gotten when signed to the label. It's a story Warren never shared before until the interview, and he said that although he knew he could have possibly caused some trouble at the time, he still advised Snoop Dogg not to sign with them. He also told Snoop Dogg that he most likely needed a lawyer to go through the paperwork. Unfortunately, his act of looking out for his friend came back to haunt him when a whistleblower told Suge what Warren had done. This led Suge to confront Warren about his remarks while they were both at the label's headquarters, and that led to their physical altercation. Although to this day, Warren maintains that he harbors no ill feelings towards Suge, he acknowledges that his comments strained their relationship and ultimately led to a situation where he wasn't offered a record deal with the label. In the end, Warren signed with the more established Def Jam label, but didn't achieve the same level of commercial success as Snoop Dogg. He recently released a documentary that explores the circumstances surrounding why he and Snoop Dogg no longer work together, and judging by what he said, there's no bad blood there. After their group had some triumph with some minor hits, Snoop Dogg secured a significant contract with Dr. Dre, unaware that Warren was left with nothing. Knowing Snoop Dogg, if he'd suspected at the time that Warren wasn't getting a similar deal, he probably wouldn't have signed his own. Incredibly, Warren feels no resentment toward the label founders Dr. Dre and Suge Knight for excluding him. He also holds no grudges against Snoop Dogg. One thing that proves this is the amazing story about how he unintentionally prevented Snoop Dogg from being caught in a fatal accident. This was the same incident that tragically claimed the life of Tupac. Warren revealed this during his recent appearance on Drink Champ. While he was on the show, he recounted how Snoop Dogg initially intended to join Tupac and Suge Knight in Las Vegas to witness the Mike Tyson vs. Bruce Seldon fight on September 7, 1996. Warren, on the other hand, was planning to watch the match at his Los Angeles home instead. He explained that he was single and had the house to himself, and then he had the thought that he was a bachelor and could host his other friends in his home and they could watch the match together. So he called Snoop Dogg and asked him to come over. And for added excitement, he said that he could invite some other people over for a barbecue, but Snoop Dogg was a little hesitant. Remember, he had planned to go to Vegas with Tupac and the others to watch the fight, so he declined, opting to go with the guys to Vegas instead. But then Warren told Snoop Dogg that he never hung out with him anymore, and this was all it took for Snoop Dogg to change his mind. He surprised Warren by showing up in a luxurious white Rolls-Royce convertible with the top down, and as expected, the visit turned into a full-blown barbecue. But then Snoop Dogg received a shocking call that Tupac had been fatally injured. Warren heard what was happening, and he did what anyone would do: sent everyone home. Snoop Dogg then rushed to Vegas to visit Tupac in the hospital. After Snoop Dogg left his home, Warren had the realization that if it wasn't for his invitation, his friend would have likely been traveling in the same vehicle as Tupac and Suge Knight on that fateful evening. On Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, Snoop Dogg described visiting Tupac in the hospital and shared how he fainted upon seeing his condition. It was a harrowing experience that left him deeply affected. Tragically, Tupac passed away in the hospital 6 days after the incident due to respiratory failure and cardiopulmonary arrest. To this day, no one has been able to resolve who was behind the incident, although there have been renowned efforts in the investigation. In July, the Las Vegas police executed a search warrant at a Nevada residence belonging to Dune QT Davis, a former Compton gang member and the uncle of Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, long believed to be Tupac's assailant. Orlando himself passed away in a gang incident in 1998. During the search of Dune's home, various items were confiscated, including several .40 caliber bullets. However, forensic analysts determined that these bullets did not match the shell casing found at the crime scene. Nevertheless, detectives have reportedly compiled a strong case against Dune, which they plan to present to a confidential jury. A source close to the matter recently suggested to a news company that charges against the 60-year-old are imminent. Dune has confessed multiple times to being in the car with Orlando and 2 others on the night of the attack, and he has even admitted to providing the weapon. Hopefully, justice gets served. Warren and Snoop Dogg are still tight to this day, and although Warren never gained back the momentum from his earlier years, he has managed to stay quite relevant in the industry. He even recently directed a music video for Boy in Love by South Korean boy band BTS. Warren's story is honestly amazing. He's helped Snoop Dogg so many times over the years, and he even potentially saved his life. It's great that these two are still friends after all these years. It really seems like their bond is just unbreakable. But anyway, what do you guys think about all this? Did you know about Warren and Snoop Dogg's friendship? What do you think about Warren technically saving Snoop Dogg's life? Let me know in the comments below.